What's going on, guys? It's me, Zach, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. In this one, I'm going to go over four players that you probably drafted to start in your draft this season, but that I really don't think are worth starting this week, and I might even explain to you why I would be wary of starting them going forward this season. Before I do get into that, I do want to just again thank everybody for all the support we've been getting. We made it at the start of the season. We didn't quite make our goal of 300 subscribers, but we're in the 260s, and that's way higher than I really had any expectation of us being when I started doing this in August. So thank you guys again for all the support. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you for stopping by. I hope that we really do provide something valuable for you here. I do want to note that the rankings, the weekly rankings, are up on my website, so if you do have any additional start-sit questions, please feel free to refer to those. They should give you an immediate answer, but obviously I'll put more thought into it if you give me a question, and maybe there will be some circumstance that makes my rankings not necessarily apply to you, like maybe you need a higher upside player because you expect to lose your matchup this week, so you'll take a shot for the fences, and I can help you make that decision as well. But again, if you are new to the channel, please do give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so that you get notifications when videos come out. There'll be 3+ videos every week going forward, so hopefully I can help make you guys as competitive as you can in your fantasy leagues this season. But with that, let's get into the video. The first one I want to go over here is Breshad Hall. Breshad Hall is sort of a player that I've expected to start slow this season, and they've got a really brutal schedule for the first 8 or 9 weeks. So he was always a guy that I sort of am intending to target in trades during the middle half of the season, just because I think that he's going to have that really awesome fantasy finish that's going to make people really happy with him. But it's going to be a bumpy road to start. The Jets have made it pretty clear that Michael Carter is maybe not going to be their starter, but he's going to be extremely involved, especially at the start of the season. And it sort of makes sense. Michael Carter put together a really quality rookie year. They did spend a decent amount of draft capital on Michael Carter in the 4th round last season. So Michael Carter's a quality running back, and it makes sense to them to see what they have in him more. And beyond that, I do expect the Jets to be losing in this game. They do play the Baltimore Ravens, who are, I don't think anybody's going to argue with this, they are a far better team than the New York Jets. And not to mention the Jets are playing with Joe Flacco at quarterback rather than Zach Wilson. That might not matter too much, but I think that for Breece Hall to really put together a decent fantasy outing, you're going to need a touchdown or for him to be far more involved in the passing game than I'm expecting, because I don't really see him getting any more than 10 to maybe 15 targets max, or carries max, and it's a pretty good defense in Baltimore. And like I said, the Jets are going to be losing in this game, so there's an opportunity there for the Jets to be down so much that they can't even really run the ball the way they want to. And that could lead to a really frustrating outing for Breece Hall, and I just would like to avoid him if at all possible. I understand that many of you drafted him in a position where you probably don't have a better option, but I would start guys like Melvin Gordon over Breece Hall. I would start Naheem Hines over Breece Hall. I would start A.J. Dillon over Breece Hall this week. I'm not saying that I'll continue to have that ranked the rest of the season, but Breece Hall I really do just expect to have a really, really tough time this week, and I don't think he's going to be involved enough, and I really don't think he looked that great in the preseason. So you're going to need a long touchdown really for him to break even here, and I don't see that happening this week. Next player I'm sitting this week is J.K. Dobbins. At this point, J.K. Dobbins might not even suit up this week, and honestly, that could be a blessing in disguise for all of you Dobbins owners because it will force you not to play him. Trust me, I think that Dobbins is a really talented NFL player, and I think he's going to have a really good NFL career, but I just don't think he's quite ready to play yet. Lamar was quoted this week saying that he's looking better day to day, but hopefully he's ready in a few weeks, so that might even mean that Dobbins misses the first couple weeks of the season. But even if Dobbins does play this week, you're going to see a very heavy split between him and Mike Davis, and why wouldn't they do that? They are going to be playing the Jets in a matchup we've already talked about. They're going to win this game pretty handily. And why would they risk injury to J.K. Dobbins? They are going to need down the stretch if they want to be a really competitive team this season. So I just highly doubt J.K. Dobbins sees more than 10 carries. And we already knew that Ravens running backs aren't going to be targeted very heavily in the passing games. So you're going to need a touchdown and honestly maybe 2 for Dobbins to really put up high-end RB2 numbers. And I'm just not going to bet on that with somebody who's not going to get the volume. Dobbins is... Trust me, he's going to have great weeks this season, but again, sort of like with Breece Hall, I'd be looking to trade for Dobbins about halfway through the season, and just really, I'd be more confident starting Mike Davis this week if J.K. Dobbins is out than I am starting Dobbins if Dobbins plays. So I actually have Mike Davis on a couple of my rosters this week. I'm considering playing him in deeper leagues, but I'm not at all confident starting J.K. Dobbins this week, and I'm going to avoid doing so until I see something from him. Next guy I'm going to sit this week's Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's sort of a player that has always been really boom or bust in fantasy, so he wasn't ever really a very extremely reliable fantasy starter, and that was with a Hall of Fame quarterback running the offense. And now they've got Geno Smith and maybe Drew Lock if things start out poorly for them, but this is going to be a really, really bad offense, and Lockett's going to operate as the clear number 2 receiver on an offense that just is going to struggle to get first downs this season. Sort of similar to the past, he's going to need a big touchdown to pay off this week, and there's going to be a lot less of those this season with Geno Smith and Drew Lock at the helm than there have been in the past. So I really don't see Lockett being a guy that you can ever trust on a week-to-week basis, and against the Broncos, who are a pretty good defense, I just don't see it happening. I think the Seahawks are really going to try and run the ball, slow to the game down, make every game they play as slow and boring as possible, and you're going to need a broken play-action play to work to Lockett. And it's not going to happen on a consistent basis. He's going to be a guy that is going to more consistently just sink your lineup than he is going to help it. And I don't want to trust him at all unless there's a week where DK misses or maybe this offense surprises me, but I really don't see that happening. So honestly, I'm probably benching Tyler Lockett every week this season until I see some real life out of the Seattle offense, but definitely going to sit him for now and see if things turn out better going forward. Last player I'm sitting this week is Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is going to be playing the Panthers this week for the Cleveland Browns. He will be operating as their number 1 wide receiver, but there's a pretty long history of number 1 wide receivers for Jacoby Brissett not really being as lucrative for fantasy as you'd hope. Jacoby Brissett does sort of spread the ball around quite a bit, and there's certainly some reason for upside with the David Njoku, given how frequently Jacoby Brissett targets the tight end position. So I don't think Amari Cooper is going to have much more than maybe a 20% target share in this game, and the Browns are going to be just trying to play defense and run the ball to win games until Deshaun Watson is back. And the Panthers aren't going to be able to put up enough points to keep the Browns from being able to do that. I actually expect the Browns to win this game. And the Panthers and the Browns are just both going to make this a pretty slow-paced game. It's going to be a lot of running the ball, a lot of dump downs to the running backs. And you're not going to see any sort of fireworks this game. So you're going to need, honestly, a touchdown out of Amari Cooper, and I never really want to play receivers where I'm banking on a touchdown for them to produce because receivers just aren't really locks to score touchdowns unless you're one of those top-tier guys like Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. So, personally, I'd like to sit Amari Cooper this week, and similar to Tyler Lockett, I'm probably going to be sitting Amari Cooper in almost every matchup unless they're playing teams that I expect to put up a lot of points on them. So as long as the Browns feel like they can run the ball and play defense to win games, that's what they're going to do, and Amari Cooper is going to have a tough time really producing in games where they're not forced to throw the ball more. So sit Amari Cooper this week, and thank me later. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.